Yo, what's going on? Today I'm going to show you how to make crazy dark beats for Octane, Toliver's newest album. Let's get straight into this. So first off, this beat starts out with a sample. I found this on YouTube. It's a song Trellis. It's like an older song from 1978. And yeah, I found this using Sampleette. So I'll play what this sounds like real quick. And you can hear that I basically didn't have to do much at all. I thought it sounded really cool already. So basically I just brought that into FL Studio and chopped it up. So for this first part, this is basically just the sample itself. I did a little bit of chopping, but just make sure like everything was on time. So as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but I had to shift a little bit of stuff different, but nothing crazy at all. And then I routed this to a track 1. I did OTT to kind of compress it and bring in some more high end, so that the sound was louder and it wasn't as compressed. And then I added a little EQ to take out some high end because it gets a little bit too much here at the end. So I automated this to come in at the end when there's like some drums going on. Also, I added these 2 effect sounds. And there's a tempo change right here too. This is subtle, but it goes from 109, which was I think the original tempo, to faster 119. So just really subtle changes. The next part is like the main chop. So what I did is I had this right here. Then I clicked this little button, clicked extract stems from sample, and then I took out the instruments, the bass, and the drums, but I didn't really use the drums, so I really just needed the instruments and bass. Then I extracted those, and I got this. So this is the instruments and bass without the drums. And then what I did is I'm pretty sure I went right here and cut it. Boom, I did this. This is for like the end right here. And then I just copied this over. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Then I have this little end piece right here. I can just drag this out. And that is the entire chop. So here's what it sounds like after I export it out. That is basically goes on through most of the beat. There is a part right here in like this bridge where I reverse it. Right here, just reverse that. But that's basically all I did. There's a little bit of effects, as you can hear. Basically just the same as the original one, but this EQ is taking out low end so that there's space for the 808. There's a few more melody sounds though that I added later in the beat. There's this Xenology sound. This is the whistle lead from Xenology, and it sounds like this. So really simple and subtle, but it's right here, just kind of create like a darker feeling. So that lead tone was kind of for like the main part of the beat. There's a bridge, but I'm gonna break that down later. For now, I'm gonna get into the main drums. 808 right here is from a Primo XB. It's one of these kits, which is like a really fat 808 with some distortion. I added a little bit of fast distortion onto it after, so it'd be like extra distorted. This is playing a relatively simple pattern. Right here at the end, I noticed the bass line went up to B, so I just kind of did this real quick. I don't know, play with the octaves, but nothing too crazy. I layered that with a kick right here too. And yeah, here's what it sounds like together. It's pretty simple. That kick has like a little cool sound add onto it, so it's interesting and unique. Then snare. I layered this like trap snare with this acoustic snare, and together it sounds like this. So just like a super fat snare sound. Then the main hi-hat pattern. I wanted to keep this kind of like open. I didn't want there to be too many hi-hats, but I did mainly focus on rolls. Like there's not made just like standalone hi-hats. It's more rolls. I did mainly 1/3 step to get those rolls. So yeah, here's what it sounds like. So just a lot of rolls. Obviously. Then there's an open hat, sounds like this. Then another open hat. Then there's a counter snare. And then finally, I just added this cowbell sound. I heard cowbells in the Don album, so I thought I'd add one in my own beat, and it sounds like this. And that's all the drums, but I'm just going to real quick break down the second part. There's the reverse section. Literally all I did is just copy the hi-hat pattern and then just trim it so that it's as short as possible, like cutting out any extra noise, and then just reverse it. And then just play the exact same pattern, and then same thing with the snare. Turn the trim up all the way so there's no extra sound at all, and then reverse it, and it's just the same thing. So I'll play what that man pattern sounds like, and then the reverse pattern a little bit too. Yeah, it's basically all the drums. Next is the bridge. So for that, I wanted it to kind of feel like really spaced out, cinematic, something really cool. So first one I added is this bass. This is from a Sapture kit. I just stayed on the regular E note, but then I added some notes here at the end, and then up to an A, a G, and then copied this over, but just alternated these notes. And here's what it sounds like. To slide the bass, I went here in the polyphonic section, and I just turned on this model and turned up the slide, and that's how you can slide one shots. Next one I added is this one shot. It's just kind of like a super simple, like plucky sound. I'm gonna add a ton of like reverb onto this. So for effects, it's fast distortion, Valhalla vintage verb, and then reverb. There's some EQs that were like really, really loud, so I took those out and then boosted the high end. And here's what that pattern sounds like, just like a really creepy pattern. Then final sound I added is just this a little like bell one shot. And that's basically the full beat. There's this little thing right here, it's like a guitar thing that I used. This is just like a regular octave, and then this is pitched up an octave. That sounds like this. That just has a little bit of reverb on it, but yeah, I just use that as like an accent. But that's basically the full beat. Like I said, there's a little tempo change right here, so we go up to 119 from 109 in the intro. And yeah, man, I'll play what the final beat sounds like. I appreciate all y'all for watching. This is how to make beats for Don Toliver's Octane album. And here's the final beat.